Says database record 1961 in our master database. The location is Kent. It says Litchfield, Connecticut. Never been there. September 12th, 1973, time is 22:30 or 10:30 at night. This is one of 9,400 alien humanoid encounter reports we have in our database. Think of that, a couple thousand years. We started collecting them in, let's see, about 63, something like that. I don't know. We're only going to do one. We're testing a whole new layout, new computer program, new layout, new mics, new everything. We're testing it. If it doesn't turn out to be crap, then we'll keep it and post it. If it's crap, you'll never know about it. Okay, two 17-year-old boys driving north on Route 7 from Westchester County saw a large oval object with flashing colored lights when they were several miles south of town. Okay, plausible so far. The object hovered just above the ridge on the west side of the Housatonic River, where the hell that is. And they stopped and got out for a better look. Fools, and were joined by another couple, a boy and a girl, also driving back from Westchester. God, they're all going to get abducted and probed, I know it. Meanwhile, on Spooner Hill to the east, a witness on his way to visit his friends, a young married couple, saw the same object, and when he arrived at his friend's house, he called them outside. By this time, the object had dropped behind the ridge, although they could still see its lights. Okay, there better be aliens here, because I don't do just lights in the sky. Too many of them. Okay, could still see its light shining over the crest of the hill. They got into the witness car and drove down the hill to Route 7, where they met the four younger people. All seven then drove north into town to bring back two additional witnesses. We think of UFO sightings as these fleeting 5-second affairs. They're not always. When I was a kid, we had a mass sighting in the entire farming community that lasted, well, the first night we saw it lasted from just after dark to at least 3 or 4 in the morning. Dozens of them. And then it came back the next night, and the next night, and this continued for a number of weeks. Okay, one of the astronauts reported that he was down Area 51. It wasn't Area 51 then. He was there doing training. And they all saw a bunch of them, quote unquote, them, flying over at high altitude, and this continued for weeks. So they're not always fleeting one-off things. The large object was no longer visible, but they now saw a dozen or so smaller whitish lights maneuvering in a circular pattern just this side of the ridge. This whole phenomenon where you've got a big one, and you got a bunch of little ones that come out of it, or the big one, seems to sort of in slow motion explode into a bunch of little ones. And I don't know what in the hell to think of that. That's so far beyond any check we've got that we can't even begin to make stupid comments about it. Okay. The lights maneuvering in a circular pattern just this side of the ridge. These lights then separated into a single line and proceeded north toward Mount Palgo, just southeast of the main section of town. Follow the leader. Why would they do that? Why did they go in a single file? They're aliens, okay, they're from Zeta Reticuli, Zeta Reticuli, we don't know. Certainly they have tech that's probably eons beyond electronic. What would be the purpose? I just tried to speculate. What would be the purpose of doing a follow the leader thing in single file? I just, well, they're going to catch them and ask them, I guess. We'll waterboard them until they tell us. The witnesses got into their cars and followed lights towards Kent. The 2 additional witnesses were dropped off in town, while the other 7 turned west on Route 341 and crossed the bridge over the river, heading toward Mount Algo. There they turned south on something. Shaka. It looks like you got to pronounce it like a packing up a hairball. See it, well, and you can see it on your screen. Something road, which runs along the base of the mountain to Bonew's Field, an open spot about a mile south. The group assembled there briefly, but was unable to see anything. Meanwhile, at about the same time, a separate group of 3 teenage girls, yeah, that's reliable. A separate group of 3 teenage girls camping out in one of their backyards along the Housatonic observed a line of lights descending Mount Algo on its steep north side. The witnesses at Bonew's Field had gotten back in their cars and drove north again to the junction of Route 341, where they discovered a small white car parked, which had not been there a few minutes earlier. They parked their cars, and the 2 younger boys got out and asked the occupants of the white car, 2 unidentified girls, if they had seen anything unusual. They said that they were waiting for a group of hikers who had told them an hour earlier that they were hiking over the mountain and that the girls should meet them there. Just then, a group of 15 to 20 hikers, quotes in quotes, hikers in quotes, came jogging down that cat hairball road from the same direction. The young people had just driven. They had not seen anything on the road. Each hiker had a lighted hat, like a miner's hat, on his head, and they all carried poles or rods. They were mumbling or chanting and approached in a double column. They did not answer the boys' questions as they passed on either side of them when asked where they'd come from. So I'm passing these off as real honest to God hikers in the beginning, and now this has sounded pretty weird. It could be some weirdo cult of weirdo hikers. I don't know. Wait, you're not saying they even look like aliens. Okay. According to the young people, the hikers apparently turned right at Route 341 and headed towards Kent. However, when they all got back in the cars and drove after them, the hikers were nowhere to be seen, as though they had disappeared into thin air. Well, imagine that. That never happens with aliens. According to the 2 young men and the younger couple, there were at least 2 hours they could not account for. Oh, God, they got probed. I didn't see that one coming. They got probed for 2 hours. Like all these mutant alien hikers probed. Probably the boys too. Oh, suck. The 3 older people could not recall what they did or where they went after the hikers passed because they're knocked out and they're getting probed. Hypnotic regression was apparently attempted, but the results are not described. So I think, well, no, I was going to say we can conclude that there were negative results, but not necessarily. They might have been really nitty good, amazingly erotic results, but they just chose not to tell us. Unless the source was Bud Hopkins, he's up there. I'm not going to assign credibility to him because I don't know. I can go either way on Bud Hopkins. Anyway, he's the source on this. He's the one who made up the report. What would we be thinking? We grade these on credibility. Do they possibly sound credible or not? This one possibly is if they could just flesh it out with more detail. If at least they could describe the probes, that would help a lot. They're not really telling us. They say some lights, okay, yada yada. I saw some lights too when I was a kid. everybody saw them. I don't know what they could have been, but I didn't see any aliens. These guys say they saw hikers who acted weird, but they can't positively say they're aliens. So no, I'm not going out on a limb on this. No, I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna give it any credibility. I can't do it. There's just nothing there. Okay, that concludes our new hardware test and a new software test. One record out of the database. That's it. That's all you get. Okay, I don't know what the number's gonna. I think this is gonna be like number 299. I think of the alien chronicles. Okay, I'll page the copyright stop. Photosworldwide.com. We'll be done. Thank you very much, and good evening and good night.